Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. No importa la hora que sea, siempre es un gran momento para aprender español con Profesor Pablo. Welcome to Learn Spanish Fast with Profesor Pablo. How do we learn it? Rápido. Rapidísimo. Roll your R's, right? Okay. Conocer sentences. We just had a lesson on conocer. Let's check and see how we're doing. Certainly, I do not expect for you guys to just crank these out like you're a native speaker, but I expect you to understand the elements. We'll go over them. I'll explain how the translation works and why it does, and you should be picking up on a lot of these and being able to do a certain number of these, and certainly being able to do many parts. Now, if you can do most of them correctly, you're way ahead of the game. So remember, this is a process. We started with a lesson, that's the first installment. Now we're doing some specific review on conocer. That's our second installment, and we'll be using conocer again and again and again in the future, and always revisiting what we've already initially learned. So here we go. I met your dad last night at the game. Well, I met, we know that's in the past, right? It's not present tense, I meet. It's not future, I will meet, and it's not conditional, I would meet, and it's certainly not a subjunctive, right? There's no provocador in front. So it's got to be preterite or imperfect. Now remember, conocer in the preterite means to meet someone, and in the imperfect it means to know someone, that you knew someone in the past. So here we want preterite. So conocer, it's a regular verb in the preterite. Take the ER off and add an accented I. Conocí, personal A. If you do something to a person, you need that personal A. So it'd be conocí a tu papá anoche at the game en el partido. Now it would be very common to put a lo in front and say, lo conocí a tu papá anoche en el partido. Now if you're talking to an usted person and want to say, I met your dad last night at the game, it would be, lo conocí a su papá anoche en el partido. Lo conocí a tu or su papá anoche en el partido. Someday I want to get to know your parents. Now, to get to know is used a few times here in our different clusters. To get to know is the verb conocer. For example, I'm going to get to know your brother tomorrow. That would be voy a conocer a tu hermano mañana. So to get to know is just simply conocer. Someday, now how do you say some? Some, there's alguno, alguna, algunos, and algunas, and then there's dia for day, but you can't say alguno dia. We haven't studied the 7 O's yet, but alguno is one of those 7 words we take the O off the end in front of a masculine singular noun. So not only are we reviewing conocer, but we're introducing and practicing new material. That's just the nature of language. Algún día, there's an accent on the U. Algún día, I want, well that's easy, the verb querer. Algún día quiero. Use the yo if you want. Algún día yo quiero. Get to know, it's just conocer. Algún día yo quiero conocer your parents. Now remember, after conocer, the person that you're getting to know or that you met or that you knew, you need the personal A. Anytime you do something to a person, you need the personal A. And the personal A is A, but I like to say there are 5 forms of it. It's either A right in front of a name, but if it's in front of a word referring to a name, then it's got to be al, Allah, alos, or alas. So that personal A has 5 potential manifestations. Here, since it's not a name like Mario or Paco or Maria, we're going to need a plus the article that would go in, or the word in front of your parents. Now we know your is tu. The plural of tu is tus, T-U-S. So what do we have? Algún día quiero conocer a tus padres. Algún día yo quiero conocer a tus padres. Algún día yo quiero conocer a tus padres. See, I said it faster the third time. You do the same way. You get good and you feel confident and just let it go. I know everyone. Well, I know, that's a present tense of conocer. It's a ZC verb, right? ZC. So it's conozco. Then everyone. What's the word for everyone? Todos. But you need the personal a. Now, you're going to say conozco a todos. Todos is like a name of a person. Conozco a todos. You go straight with the a to todos. Conozco a todos. Could you put los in front? Los conozco a todos. Yes. But to be honest with you, the usage of pronouns with all of this, it will come in time. And when you're really good at it, it'll just come off the end of your tongue naturally. You won't even have to think about it. But right now, just focus, conozco a todos. Could it be los conozco a todos? Sure. And if they're all is all women, it'd be conozco a todas, las conozco a todas. Just make sure you get the conozco a todos. The lo and the la, all those pronouns will come. I didn't know anyone. Now, anyone is going to be like a name. It's going to be just the a. So, didn't know. Well, that's in the past, so it's either preterite or imperfect. Preterite is to meet. Imperfect is to know someone in the past. I didn't know anyone would be no. Take conocer into the imperfect and add, take the er off and add I with an accent a. No conocía a nadie. It's not a double negative because you're not saying I didn't know no one. That's not correct in English. Nadie, when it has the no in front of the verb here, becomes anyone. No conocía a nadie. Or anybody for that matter. We got to know each other when we were on vacation. Now again, to get to know is the verb conocer by itself. So we got to know, well, this is not the infinitive, this is got to know. So got is not I get to know somebody today. I got to know someone, obviously in the past. So it's the old preterite versus imperfect again. Is it a one-time thing? When you're saying here, we got to know each other, are you saying we knew each other when we were on vacation? Doesn't make any sense. It's we met each other. So we're going to go preterite. So we got to know would be conocimos. Conocimos. Conocer in the preterite. Conocimos. IMOS. But how do we handle each other? Well, that's the pronoun nos. And what do we know about pronouns? They can go in different places, but if you only have a conjugated verb, they have to go right in front of the conjugated verb. So take nos and put it in front of conocimos. Nos conocimos when, cuando, we were on vacation. Now, that's the verb estar, right? Estar. Nos conocimos cuando we were. Well, that's past tense, so it's preterite or imperfect. Remember, the preterite of estar we use when we define the amount of time that something happened. For example, I was sick for a week. Estuve enfermo por una semana. Por una semana makes us use the preterite. But you're not saying specifically at what given time when you were on vacation. It's open-ended in the past, incomplete past action. So this is going to be estábamos, estábamos. Nos conocimos cuando estábamos de vacaciones. You want to put en, but it's de vacaciones. One of our learners, one of our fellow learners, remembers the imperfect AR verbs, the ABBA from the band ABBA, ABBA, right? So that memory aids are great, and thank you for pointing that out. Memory aids are great. That's why we talk about piano keys and all these other crazy things, right? To help us remember it, to make it stick in the language learning module. Let's go back. This would be nos conocimos cuando estábamos, with an accent on that A in the middle, de vacaciones. In English, vacation is singular. In Spanish, it's always plural. Nos, right here, nos conocimos cuando estábamos de vacaciones. Okay, I knew her when I lived at the beach. I knew her. Well, that's past. Is it preterite or imperfect? Is it saying you met her or you knew her? You knew her, so that's imperfect. So her, how do we do her? It's going to be la. Put it in front. La conocía cuando I lived at the beach. It doesn't say how long you lived at the beach. We're not going preterite. It was an incomplete past action. When you lived at the beach every day, right, as you lived your life, you knew her. So, la conocí cuando vivía, imperfect, vivía en la playa. La conocía cuando vivía en la playa. If this said, I met her when I lived at the beach, it would be la conocí cuando vivía en la playa. But this says, I knew her when I lived at the beach. La conocía cuando vivía en la playa. I want to get to know my neighbors. The word for neighbors is vecinos, V-E-C-I-N-O-S, vecinos. I want, again, we had it here somewhere. I thought we had, yeah, here, quiero, right? Quiero, Q-U-I-E-R-O. Quiero, where are we? Right here. I want to get to know my neighbors. Quiero conocer. After conocer, we're going to go with a mis vecinos. This is not a noun, so you're not going to use an el, a la, a los, or a las in front of it. And the same thing with nadie and todos. That's why we go straight with the a. Quiero conocer a mis vecinos. Isn't that beautiful? My mom met my dad when she was 20 years old. My mom met. Okay, that's in the past tense. Is it preterite or imperfect? Imperfect is that you knew someone in the past. Preterite is that you met someone. So we need preterite. So it would be mi mamá met. Now, for my mom, it would be she. So take the ER off and add I-O with an accent on the O. Mi mamá conoció. You need that a again. A mi papá. Cuando, how do you say age in the past? Right? Tengo 20 años is I am 20. Do you remember we had a lesson on that? If you want to say how old you were or someone was or how old something was, it's tenía. Imperfect, tenía. Okay? Because, think about it. When your mom met your dad, she just wasn't 20 for that instant that she met him. She was 20 before as she walked up to him, she was already 20. And she was 20, or he was 20 after that, or she was 20 after that. So it's an incomplete past action imperfect. Mi mamá conoció a mi papá cuando tenía 20 años. 20 años is all you need, 20. Now, do you want to use the pronoun lo? You could say, mi mamá lo conoció a mi papá cuando tenía 20 años. But if you can say, mi mamá conoció a mi papá cuando tenía 20 años, people knowing that you're learning Spanish as a second language would applaud. That's awesome. Do I know you, sir? Well, when you say sir, that's obviously an usted person. So the pronoun for you, for usted, would be lo. Lo conozco a usted, señor. Or le conozco, like in Spain. Le conozco a usted, señor. Right? If you want to say, do I know you, ma'am, it would be la conozco a usted, señora. In Spain, they say, le conozco a usted, señora. I want you to meet my sister. Now, here's the subjunctive. I want you to do something. That's a provocador. We know I want is quiero, but to, I want you to, you need the que. Quiero que, there's your tow vehicle, your trailer hitch, and now we got to go opposite vowel with conocer. I want you to meet. Well, the present tense would be conoces. How do you do the present subjunctive? You take the yo-o form of the present tense, conozco, with the ZC, change the O to the opposite vowel for ER verbs, which is A, and add an S. Yo quiero que conozcas a mi hermana. There it is. Yo quiero que conozcas a mi hermana. Advanced Spanish, subjunctive. Do you know Mrs. Venegas? Do you know? Well, present tense, conoces, change that R to an S, put la in front, la conoces a la señora Venegas, or just simply conoces a la señora Venegas, that's fine. Conoces a la señora Venegas, or la conoces a la señora Venegas. And the last one, we met our teacher. Well, we know now that that's preterite. Conocer in the preterite, we met before, I believe somewhere around here, right? Somewhere we got to know, we met each other. Conocimos. So we met our teacher would be conocimos a nuestro maestro, or conocimos a nuestra maestra, or profesor, profesora. If you want to use the pronoun, lo conocimos a nuestro maestro. La conocimos a nuestra maestra. So, there are all the clusters. We've translated them. Let's go through them one more time. And again, We're not at the top of the mountain yet. We're practicing and we're getting better all the time. We just want to improve. We want you to understand these better now that we've gone over these than before. Think about before yesterday's lesson with Conocer. Think of how much you've learned from yesterday's lesson and practicing them here. That's all we want. We just want progress, one step at a time. Here we go. I met your dad last night at the game. Conocí a tu papá anoche en el partido. If you want the pronoun, lo conocí a tu papá anoche en el partido. Someday I want to get to know your parents. Algún día quiero conocer a tus padres. I know everyone. Conozco a todos. Pronoun los conozco a todos. Conozco a todos is fine. I didn't know anyone. No conocía a nadie. There you go. We got to know each other when we were on vacation. Nos conocimos cuando estábamos de vacaciones. I knew her when I lived at the beach. La conocía cuando vivía en la playa. Or just, it could be conocía a ella cuando vivía en la playa. But the way it's going to be said would be la conocía cuando vivía en la playa, or la conocía a ella cuando vivía en la playa. Sometimes you're going to find out that the pronouns are a little more appropriate than necessary than other times. I want to get to know my neighbors. Yeah, quiero conocer a mis vecinos. My mom met my dad when she was 20. Mi mamá conoció a mi papá cuando tenía 20 años. Do I know you, sir? Lo conozco a usted, señor. Conozco a usted, señor. For a lady, do I know you, ma'am? La conozco a usted, señora, or conozco a usted, señora. You want to use the pronoun there, much better. Lo conozco a usted, señor. La conozco a usted, señora. I want you to meet my sister, provocador. I want you to do something. Car, hitch, trailer, tow vehicle, hitch, trailer. Here we go. I want you to meet my sister. Quiero que conozcas a mi hermana. If you want to use the pronoun, quiero que la conozcas a mi hermana. Do you know Mrs. Venegas? ¿La conoces a la señora Venegas? ¿La conoces a la señora Venegas? In Spain, ¿le conoces a la señora Venegas? And the last one, we met our teacher. Conocimos a nuestro maestro, or lo conocimos a nuestro maestro, or conocimos a nuestra maestra, or la conocimos a nuestra maestra. Yes. Okay, conocer sentences. We're never going to get away from conocer. We will keep coming back. Remember, conocer in the preterite is to meet someone. Conocer in the imperfect is that you knew someone in the past. And to get to know is conocer, just simply conocer. I'm going to get to know them tomorrow. Los voy a conocer mañana. Okay, gracias amigos. You're doing great. We're in the 140s now with our lessons. We keep moving. I'm trying to do a lesson a day. Sometimes I'm out of town. I'm babysitting. I'm busy doing sports announcing. But I'm trying my best to put out content nearly daily, sometimes daily. So hang in with me, and I'll always be there for you. So thank you so much. You guys have a great day. We'll see you soon with the next lesson. Hasta luego.